Welcome back. The baseball playoffs kicked off with the bi-district round in Class 6A. Brennan taking on Laredo Alexander in game one of their series. Let's take you there. Top of the eighth, game tied at 4. Bases loaded for Britton Clements as he smokes the first pitch. He sees deep to left field and gone. You see right there, a grand slam breaks the tie in extra innings. Brennan drops game one 11-5. Game two is tomorrow in Laredo. At Disrees Field, Class 5A by district, Breckenridge taking on McCollum there. The Cowboys, Eagles pulling away in the bottom of the fifth. Josh Arzola drives a base hit into shallow right. Hector Quiroga scores. You see that right there, capping their second 3-run inning of the game. Brack takes game one here 6-3. Game two is tonight at Wolf Stadium. And the Harlan softball team hosted Harlingen in the 6A area round of the playoffs last night out there in Northside. Bottom of the third, no score, not anymore. Lauren Valerie breaks the ice with a 2-run homer. Great shot there that hits off the scoreboard in left field. Harlan cruises to a big win, 9-0, and they will look to close out the series tonight in Raymondville. And we can't forget about the Missions here. The Missions Driller games in Tulsa got rained out last night and had to be postponed. So they're now scheduled to play a doubleheader today, and that starts at 5:05 p.m.
We're going to be heading over to SA Live in about a half hour from now, and you can see quite the colorful set. Looks like they've got some, is that quilts?
Yeah.
Laid out. Very beautiful stuff.
Very nice.
Find out what that's all about in just a few minutes.
And coming up, interest rates are skyrocketing, and while it's not good for your credit cards and car loans, there's one way to look at the glass half full. Banks are now competing for your cash. Today at 5, we're talking savings accounts and how much more you can earn if you shop around. It's a story about your money, and it's coming your way today at 5 o'clock. Welcome back. In your health headlines, new vaccines are being tested to prevent avian flu in birds, but experts say the ending of this historic outbreak isn't as simple as vaccination. The outbreak has had a major effect on commercial bird flocks, particularly in the poultry industry, which has contributed to higher food prices. Right now, farmers are putting down sick birds instead of rolling out vaccines. That's because vaccinated birds could still pass the virus to unprotected birds. A vaccination program would also limit the ability of producers to export their flocks. The risk to humans here is still low. Drug maker Novo Nordisk says it's limiting starter doses of the weight loss drug Wegovy as demand outpaces supply. The supply interruptions aren't expected to affect higher doses of Wegovy for people already taking it. However, the company expects many people will have a hard time filling prescriptions at the lower initial doses through September. The Food and Drug Administration approved Wegovy for weight loss for people with high body mass index.
Serbia reeling after a second mass shooting there. This latest act of violence left at least 8 people hurt, 8 dead, 14 hurt. Right now, after a manhunt that lasted more than 8 hours, police arrested a suspect. Police say the man went around 3 Serbian villages shooting people just at random. A motive is not clear, and it comes only one day after a 13-year-old boy used his father's guns to kill 8 fellow students and a guard at a school in Serbia. Police have now released the official autopsy report for Tyree Nichols. It says that he died of blunt force injuries to his head and declares his death a homicide. This comes after a group of Memphis police officers kicked and beat him after pulling him over for a routine traffic stop on January 7th. He died 3 days later. 5 former officers have pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges related to Nichols' death. A 6th former officer who fired a taser at Nichols was terminated, but he is not facing criminal charges. Meanwhile, Nichols' family has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the police department and the city.
Former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio and 3 other members of his group here were convicted of a plot to attack the U.S. Capitol. It was part of a bid to keep Donald Trump in power after the Republican lost the 2020 presidential election. A jury found Tarrio and 3 lieutenants guilty of seditious conspiracy. The court heard from dozens of witnesses for more than 3 months. The Justice Department has now secured seditious conspiracy convictions against the leaders of 2 major groups that prosecutors say were intent on keeping Democratic President Joe Biden out of the White House.
Ethics on the Supreme Court coming under question. This is after 2 justices did not recuse themselves from cases that involved a publishing company that paid them in lucrative book deals. Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Neil Gorsuch both received book deals from the same company, Penguin Random House. Both justices involved in copyright infringement cases, though, concerning the publishing conglomerate. In those cases, the court declined to take appeals in the case, so Penguin Random House kept its wins at the lower court level. And this comes at the same time that Justice Clarence Thomas is under fire over an undisclosed gift. He and his wife Ginny took legal custody of their great-nephew back in the 1990s. But it wasn't just the Thomases providing opportunities for him. ProPublica is reporting that billionaire Harlan Crow paid at least some of the young man's tuition at 2 different private schools. Federal ethics law requires justices to publicly report gifts. Thomas has not commented, but Crow did acknowledge he made the payments.
Okay, back here at home, taking you back outside with live cam. Justin just told us a little while ago it's going to be a little bit muggy, a little bit toasty, warm out there. I saw numbers getting up in the upper 80s, Justin.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a lot of 90s on the map today, and I think that'll be the case this weekend, too. Not a bad weekend, maybe, to find a pool. It's that season again. Pool season is upon us. It is going to be warm through the foreseeable future. Last night, full moon, beautiful shot here on our KSAT Connect. Some altocumulus clouds making for a beautiful shot there. We appreciate the pictures as always, and you can send those into our KSAT Connect via the KSAT weather app and the KSAT News app as well. Thank you. As we go outside for you once again, you can kind of see the heat, humidity out there with this shot. 85 degrees right now. Dew point is at 71. It'd be nice if we can get this number to drop a little bit. It has not. It has stayed steady. So as long as that number is in the 70s, it's going to feel a lot warmer than what you see here. Southerly winds at about 11 miles per hour right now. And the heat index is currently at 90. That's your feels like number. Rio Medina feels like 97. Feels like 95 in Pleasanton. These numbers may jump into the upper 90s this afternoon. So if you are going to be outside, lots of water, you know the drill. We go through this every summer, but this is just a little early for this kind of heat. I do need to mention there is a chance for a few storms this afternoon, about a 20% shot at an isolated storm. Most of us stay dry. There is that small opportunity, though, that a pop-up storm does develop. If it does, could be strong to severe. Otherwise, temperatures make it up into the 90s and then eventually fall back down into the 70s, but still very muggy as we go into tonight.
A deputy in Indiana springing into action, saving a woman's life. How he was able to do this, the Heimlich maneuver, even though he'd never even seen it done. An Indiana deputy's life-saving efforts going viral. He saved a woman from choking to death, and it was caught on camera.
This is an incredible story. Of course, CNN's Jeannie Mose. She's going to give us a look at the dramatic dash cam video.
And give me permission.
It's one thing to do the Heimlich on a dummy.
Thumb tucked into my fist.
But Deputy Jerry Weber was captured on his dash cam doing the real thing.
I've never done it before. I've never even seen it done. So I was wondering to myself, like, is this going to work?
The Noble County, Indiana Sheriff's deputy heard the call from a passing motorist come in over 911 live.
We have a police en route. Okay. I think he's in the Heimlich. Oh my gosh.
He arrived in less than a minute.
She was trying to talk to me, but she was unable to talk. She was again doing the universal choking sign.
And turning red, she positioned her back to the deputy and he started abdominal thrusts.
I was afraid I was going to hurt her. So I did it 3 or 4 times and I stopped. I'm like, can you breathe yet? Are you okay yet? No.
So he kept going. The 8th thrust was the charm, though at first no food came out.
How did you know that she was okay?
So she said something. What she said is, "Oh, my back, my back."
And then she expelled what was stuck.
Do we know what she ate?
I believe she said that it was French fries, actually.
The deputy described her as very grateful. He says she was living in her car.
Is there any lesson you take from this whole experience?
That the Heimlich works, yeah. That's a good feeling, knowing that it actually works.
Not just a how-to chart or a dummy, but hands-on proof for a deputy who himself didn't choke when faced with doing the Heimlich for the very first time. Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
I'm so very sorry, RJ. Jeannie Mose took your pun.
She's great. She's great with those
so
puns. I should have
good.
known ahead of time.
And we all know that French fries are bad for you. And that was, there you go, proof right there.
Yes.
Proof right here. We're having a beautiful day out
For
there.
the fries.
It is beautiful but warm. We're going to see those temperatures make it up into the 90s later today. 86 so far, so we're well on our way. That's already above average, so you know that we'll be well above average. Now, the record is 99. Thankfully, that's not in jeopardy. But we started off at 72, so we already got off to a warm start this morning. We'll talk more about this 7-day forecast, which includes more rain chances down the line. It's coming up.
Seeing some little bit warm weather out there, a little bit muggy as we get set for our weekend.
We're trying to
getting ready to go.
ease the blow. Stay inside your house this weekend.
That's not going to happen.
Do a little spring cleaning.
That's not going to
Well,
happen.
Justin, you mentioned earlier, or maybe hang out by the pool. That's a good way to kind of
too?
cool
If
down.
you got
and
a
stuff.
pool,
yes, if you have one.
that would
I mean, we've been here before. We know how to handle this kind of stuff, but it is a little bit of a shock to the system because it's May. We went through April pretty much unscathed. We had fronts coming through. It felt great. Now we're into that heat, and you look across the country. Oh, we're one of the warmest spots. 85 here in San Antonio. Miami beats us. 88 degrees there, and it is probably significantly more humid, so there is that. But you look across the rest of the country, and it's cool. They still have that low up there across the Northeast. It's in the 60s there, 65 in Cleveland. And then look at the West, 57 in Salt Lake City, 48 right now in Seattle. So it's the coasts that are cool. It's the middle part of the country that is starting to bake, and that includes us here in Texas. Look at some of these numbers. San Angelo is already up to 94. 88 in Abilene, 87 in Dallas. And you look at the forecast heat index today, the forecast temperature and heat index. I bumped up the temperatures just based on what we're seeing right now to 92, which puts our heat index close to 100 this afternoon. That is the kind of heat we're dealing with. Even Houston will see heat indices close to 100. It's more of a dry heat out west, but still hot in places like Del Rio where they could get up close to 100 this afternoon. We have the high dew points, the moisture spreading north. And that dry line does push east, and it's along that dry line where the models do want to develop a few storms later today, which is possible. Right now, as I said earlier, most of the models want to develop storms up I-35 towards the Waco area and then south of us towards Laredo. We're kind of stuck in the middle where there's nothing. Doesn't mean we couldn't get an isolated storm, but that's kind of the general thinking. And the risk from the Storm Prediction Center, well, they have the highest risk north of us. So Austin, Waco, Dallas, over to Abilene, a little area there where they think it's about a 2 out of a 1 to 5 scale, and where we are more of a 1. So it's low end, but if we were to get a storm to pop up, severe weather is possible. And hail would be the main threat. But it's a big if we're even going to get a storm, because you look at the forecast here, and we'll fast forward to 4 o'clock, nothing there. But by, say, 6, 7, this wants to put an outflow boundary through here, maybe an isolated storm or two. It's hard to know exactly where these storms would develop. But the threat is there, 20% chance. We'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, enjoy your evening plans and prepare for the heat and humidity. We can see it out there. 85 right now. Dew point is at 71. Southerly winds at 11 miles per hour. At least there is a little bit of a breeze. But this is what it feels like at this hour. Heat indices are jumping up into the upper 90s already in Helotes. Feels like 94 in Bulverde, feels like 91 in New Braunfels, feels like 95 currently in Pleasanton, and these numbers only go up from here. As we showed you, heat indices will close in on 100 in several spots. So 90 at 2 o'clock today, 91 3 p.m., 92 at 5 p.m. with a 20% chance of rain. And I'd say between mainly 4 and maybe 9 o'clock is when we could see an isolated storm. And once we lose the daytime heating, our rain chances fall off. 77 at 11 o'clock, 76 midnight. And with all that mugginess, clouds build back in tomorrow, we could see some patchy fog. What's interesting is this pattern just sticks with us. We have rain chances basically each and every day going into next week, and I wish I could differentiate some of these days and say, hey, this day we have a 30% versus a 20%, but you really can't. It's just going to be the pop-up stuff each and every day. And temperatures stay pretty steady too, right around 90 degrees with heat indices in the mid-90s each and every day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. This is tough news for movie lovers here. Theater companies will likely see the biggest impact if the Writers Guild of America strike is not resolved. An analysis by Moody says theaters are more vulnerable because they don't have financial flexibility. Broadcast and television networks could also be impacted if customers opt to cancel their cable or satellite service. The Writers Guild of America is striking over pay, employment levels, and the changing way in which shows and movies are distributed.
Trending on KSAT12, tickets going on sale for the Jonas Brothers Burnin' Up tour on May 12th. The brothers are going to be performing at the AT&T Center on October 5th. The band's set to perform songs from 5 of their albums every night of their tour.
All right, the Joe Bros back in town. You Jonas Brother fan?
No, I kind of missed that one.
Yeah, me too, a little bit. All right, let's check out what Mike and Jen are up to down there at Market Square at SA Live. How you guys doing?
Good. Isn't that some of your favorite karaoke to sing, Jonas Brothers? RJ? Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I didn't know.
We are celebrating Cinco de Mayo. Lots going on.
Yes, La Laguna Mariscos and Sushi. They are on the show today. Now they are celebrating with some music and great food.
Oh my
And their
goodness.
drinks, Mike, are over the top. The little is just the tiny one.
Lots going on today. Plus, if you say SA Live, boy, do they have a deal for you. All right, the Cinco de Mayo celebration goes on all weekend long with a little bit of shopping.
Yes, Garrecho Arts Unidos is throwing a huge event. All the artisans coming together. Now, this is a great way to get some Mother's Day gifts, maybe. Yes.
All handmade artisans under one roof. We will tell you about that. Okay, our dear friend Mary Lou Davis is here. Pink hair and all.
Beautiful.
We'll explain that
Thank
in a
you.
moment. And we are making some donuts too.
We are making mochi donuts.
What's a mochi donut?
A mochi donut is very similar to a regular one, but it's going to have rice flour and tapioca starch to give you a good, nice, and chewy bite.
And this
sounds
is
really
all
good.
tied to an event coming up later this month.
I can
And
explain.
Fiona is getting messy.
Coming up on SA Live, it's a whole mess of fun the whole family can have. And you get to release your inner artiste.
I like the shoulder move there.
I
the
know.
inner
I could
artiste.
use that, Fiona.
You know what? It is Friday, so we want to know what makes you feel good on this Friday. Maybe something happened this week, or just a sort of shout out or something.
Tell me something good.
Very good. I can't top that.
Yeah. All
That and a
right.
whole lot more coming up on SA Live. Very good, Jen.